Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of Behind the Wall presented by Perky Jerky. As always, I'm Thermite917 along with Probo 43 and Kane Jr. 88. This was the penultimate race of the NASCAR playoffs. All three series were at ISM Raceway, or ISM as some like to call it. The newly enhanced ISM Raceway with the moved start-finish line and the updated infield. It was the Lucas Oil 150, the Whelen 200, and the Can-Am 500. And for the race recap, here's Tyler. Take it away.
Damn straight, I sure will. So Kevin Harvick starts on the pole, freshly off his nice little encumbered win and subsequent crew chief suspension and loss of points. Stage 1 was very clean. He looked like he had that wrapped up, and shit hit the fan for him as his right front tire blows just 3 laps shy of the stage finish. He ends up having to pit, loses a couple of laps, can't even get the wave around because he had to pit, and it turned 2 to go. Chase Elliott, surprised out of nowhere, he grabbed the stage win. Stage 2 gets a rolling, and about 25 laps or so go by, and Joey Logano, who's not having a very good day, but luckily for him, he was already locked into the final 4. He ends up blowing a left rear tire, spins out, and just kind of has an awkward little wreck into the wall. His day is done. The field gets back rolling, and about another 30 laps after that, Clint Bowyer, a championship contender, sees his title hopes come to an end after he also blows a left rear tire and has a heavy impact into 3 and 4. The strategy kind of gets shuffled up here a little bit, and Kevin Harvick, who had actually gotten back on the lead lap due to those 2 cautions, stayed out on this caution in order to try to get himself some stage points and salvage a few. The running order obviously was shifted a little bit. Kyle Busch, who restarted right in the back half of the top 10, stormed through the field, carved him up, and ended up winning stage number 2. The race went green for a while, and Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch ended up starting the green flag cycle of pit stops, but just as they did that, little buddy Tanny Berryhill in the Obika shitbox decides he's going to make a name for himself in the race and spins out, bringing out the yellow and trapping those guys a lap down. They were forced to take the wave around, but obviously the complexion of the race has completely changed. Chase Elliott had found himself in the lead, but sped on the ensuing pit stops, and that forced him to the tail end of the longest line. Not long after that, Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott are storming back through the field on their fresh tires, and Kevin got a little bit antsy with David Reagan, who found himself higher than he should have been, and hit him right in the ass, spinning David out, causing yet another yellow. 20 laps or so after the restart, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he had a nice start but fell to hell, and he blows a left rear tire just as we've seen 2 times earlier in the day, and has a heavy impact into turns 1 and 2, which led to a 10-minute red flag. Shortly thereafter, pit stops changed the game once again, and Kyle Busch, he ended up taking 4 tires, restarted behind everybody, but had an insane restart, flying from like 9th to damn near in the lead. And as they were doing so, coming off of turn number 2, Kurt Busch and Denny Hamlin got into each other on the backstretch. They hit again, turning Denny's car into the outside wall, and Kurt came back across the racetrack, clacking Chase Elliott. So the race is now completely changed. 2 title contenders now completely out of the running. Kurt Busch was out of the race completely, and Chase Elliott had to limp home. Alex Bowman was also involved in the wreck. The race gets restarted, and about 15 or so laps later, Alex Bowman, who was just injured in the previous wreck, found himself grenading an engine and going up in a heavy ball of flames into turn number 3, and his day was done. That also led to a little bit of a red flag. The race resumes once again, and the final caution of the day comes out just 15 laps shy of the finish when Tanner Berryhill once again finds himself in the outside wall in 3 and 4, and that sets up another late race restart. But unfortunately, not too much happened. Eric Almirola was up there. He was the last man standing to try to get himself in, but Eric Almirola's not clutch. Who are we kidding? Kyle Busch, he's in the lead, storms off. Everything else falls into place, and it's super straightforward, and Kyle Busch captures his 8th win of the season, officially clinching himself a spot in the Final 4. Brad Keselowski comes home 2nd, Kyle Larson in 3rd, Eric Almirola in 4th, and Kevin Harvick in 5th. Jamie McMurray, Matt Kenseth, Austin Dillon, William Byron, and Bubba Wallace round out the top 10. So Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr. and Joey Logano are the 4 that advance to the finale at Homestead. Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola, Kurt Busch, and Clint Bowyer are the 4 that get eliminated. A couple of additional stats from the race. It ran 3 hours, 10 minutes, had 10 cautions for 61 laps, 15 lead changes among 8 drivers, and Kyle Busch is the one who led the most laps, 2 times for 117 laps. Wow, what an event we saw, and it is time to head into the race ratings. Kane, what is your rating?
Well, thankfully there was plenty of drama to go along with what was otherwise a pretty lackluster event. Obviously, you had the big wreck that took out Kurt Busch and Chase Elliott. But then again, fucking Kyle Busch won again for the 8th time this year. And that's what's keeping me from giving this race a much higher rating. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Nick, what is your rating?
Well, I'm going to be a little less biased here, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I mean, like Keen said, there was a ton of playoff drama. It kind of reminded me of like Las Vegas, where just one after another, things were happening. There was a lot of different strategy. There was the big wreck. And, I mean, even the groove widened out a lot. I think just having the start-finish line move, they were having to go wherever they could in the old turn 3 and 4, and it just really made for a lot of options over there. It didn't really last a lot. The track seemed to change and made it single file again after that for a while. But anyway, I do think the racing itself was pretty good for Phoenix. Oh man, like no matter who you were pulling for, like it sucks Kyle Busch won, but the race still had a little bit of everything. I mean, at one point Chase Elliott was in, Kurt Busch was in, Harvick was out, like just anything that could happen happened, and I really don't have any complaints because as a fan, you want to see an eventful race, and that's exactly what we saw. So it was an emotional roller coaster, but that's racing, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. So looking forward to Homestead. Tyler.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 as well. Definitely agree with all the points that you just mentioned. The drama was obviously completely through the roof, and that's what made it so intense and pressure-packed through end of the first stage on. You know, as soon as Harvick had that tire go down, you just felt kind of like a shift in the race. Even though the real shit didn't hit the fan until stage 3, there was still just enough happening, and it completely kept you in tune. The worst part about this is that the ending of the race just wasn't as good as the pressure was mounting up to. That wreck with Denny and Kurt and taking out Chase as well turned the race upside down. Because then it just went from who's going to make it in? Like, it could be any of these guys. And then it just became straightforward. And the race as well. Kyle Busch had that absolute insane restart. Massive grip and flying by, it looked like everybody. It literally looked like a video game on the easiest setting on that restart. Once he got the lead, it was just impossible. And that incident taking out Kurt Busch and Chase Elliott made it easy for Martin Truex Jr. and Kevin Harvick to completely cruise. And Eric Almirola, as I mentioned in my recap, is not clutch. And I don't even know why I ever thought that he could pull something off, because he just simply can't. Sure, he probably didn't have the car to do so, but he as a driver sure as shit couldn't do that. There's my shitting on Eric Almirola. He shouldn't have acted like a pussy last week. Maybe I wouldn't be coming down on him so hard. Still, crazy race. Just simply wish the outcome came to a different result. And I've said that so many times this year. Who knows what we'll see at Homestead. I think we've got a hell of a fight and 4 people that could potentially win it. So I'm looking forward to it. That's it.
Sounds good. Well, it's that time once again for the awards, and we got to kick it off with the classic boner of the week. Tyler, who gets it?
Denny Hamlin. Jesus, he had a raging stiffy on that restart. In turn number 2, he just gets loose at the worst possible time, clacks into Kurt Busch, and they kind of just make a little more contact on the backstretch there, and Kurt hooks him. We'll use that loosely there, but man, that just set off the wreck, turned into Chase Elliott. You already know the deal, but Jesus. Oh, Denny. I know, you're in the midst of a winless season, and you'll enjoy that big fat goose egg after Homestead. Damn it! You don't have to deliver your package so frickin' early with 40 to go. I know you're underneath Kurt, and you're battling for the lead, and you're just like, special delivery, asshole! I don't appreciate that, Denny, and you're getting a bad report. You will not win Employee of the Month. Damn it, Denny. Next time, hide your boner. Next award.
The next award is the Weekend from Hell! And, oh my god, Paul Menard, our pal who normally will finish in 16th. Oh, this week he wrecked in practice and wound up finishing 29th, 9 laps down after he dropped a cylinder early in the race from his backup motor because the primary motor got damaged in the wreck in practice. I mean, he was obviously very quiet about it because, you know, he's Paul Menard, and it was the Wood brothers that did all the tweeting for him, and you could sense the disappointment in them pretty much right from the get-go from the whole weekend, so it's a damn shame. I mean, Paul's had some pretty solid runs this year, but this was definitely not one of them, so moving on, next award.
The next award is Park the Shitbox, and that goes to Akinori Ogata. You remember him from some truck races along the years. He probably had some connections with Ineos, but man, he never got it done. He's a likable guy from what I've seen, but man, he just is slow and has no car control. He showed that again in the Xfinity race. Actually, in practice, he spun, and then on lap 1 of the race, he backed it into the wall, and then later in the race, he spun on his own again, but that time, NASCAR decided to not throw yellow because they didn't want him screwing any more things up. So he ended up finishing 33rd, 21 laps down, right where we thought he would be. I wouldn't have expected anything less. I mean, that was like the least surprising performance I've seen in a long time. So, moving on, what's the next award?
Well, speaking of very unsurprising performances, this next one you'll see in the Straight Jacket Award! Tanner Berryhill! He hasn't run a race in a NASCAR-sanctioned series in 4 years since he ran in the Xfinity Series. He was a total spank there, but comes up out of nowhere. It's like he's been in hibernation for 4 years, pops up out of his cocoon, decides he's going to run a cup race. In the next to last race of the season, the round of 8 finale, he decides he's going to run for Obiker Racing, which is already a catastrophe in the making. And, well, what does he do? He stays quiet all day, I'll give him that, but then pops up out of nowhere in Stage 3, causes a caution, which impacts things, screwed Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, even though they rebounded, but it still happened. And then he created the last caution of the race, finally ending his own day. He finished 31st with a DNF. I knew this was going to happen. I called this before the weekend even started. Again, know your role. You must be freaking crazy if you actually think making your debut in a playoff race with a lot of implications and things on the line is a smart idea. Tanner, you suck. Stop it. Save your money next time. Go do something else. Go golf. I don't give a shit what you do. Just don't show up at NASCAR no more.
Yeah, grow some berries on a hill.
I don't think he could pick berries on a hill without fucking wrecking.
No, he could not. Moving on, we have a bunch of cigars to give out. We'll start off with trucks, like always. The first one goes to Brett Moffitt. He came home with another clutch win. That was win number 5 on the season, and none of them have come easy. He's just been in the right place at the right time, and this was no different. With 2 to go, there was a restart, and he made it 3 wide in turn 1 when Grant Enfinger moved up Noah Gragson because he was trying to make it to Homestead. And that didn't work out because they forgot about Moffitt, who was down by the inside wall, and he just passed them both and came home with the win. So that's another amazing performance by the Hattori Enterprises team, and they're looking to be one of the favorites at Homestead. Next one goes to Tyler Ankrum. Who are you?
Who?
He made a bit of a dumb move early in the race when he cut down on the lap truck of Jason White. No, not that one. And spun himself and someone else. But he actually rebounded for his 6th place finish, so the Crosley team didn't suck that time. The next one goes to Derek Kraus. Who are you again?
Who? What?
Yeah, I think he's another K&N driver. But he finished 8th in his Truck Series debut with McAnally Racing, number 19 Napa Know-How. Yeah, he just had a really solid race out there. Was in the top 5 at a point, I think. And fortunately, he didn't crash, or he would have been Sour Kraus. Crickets, 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 crickets. But yeah, I mean, good job for those guys.
All right. Next cigar goes to Sheldon Creed, who picked up his first top 10 in the Camping World Truck Series on the very same weekend that he announced that he would be going full-time in 2019 for GMS Racing. Congratulations, Sheldon. You're already way better than Cody Coughlin ever did in that 2 truck, and I think you're going to do even better than him in 2019. So congratulations.
Jags.
Jags!
Jags!
God, it felt good to do that again. Anyways, moving on to the Xfinity Series, we only have one from that race, and that goes, of course, to Christopher Bell, who once again managed to come in the clutch. He had to win at Phoenix in order to guarantee a spot in the championship four at Homestead, and he did exactly that. He is now in along with Cole Custer, Daniel Hemrick, and Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, who gives a
That's
fuck?
right. But anyways, Christopher Bell, congratulations. You're moving on to Homestead, and you're probably going to win the title. So take your trophy and have fun. And now we move on to the Cup Cigars. Unfortunately, Kyle Busch gets a cigar, so yeah, go ahead, take it, leave. We don't want to talk about you anymore. Get out of here!
The next cigar goes to Matt Kenseth, who had a surprise finish in 7th place. Holy shit! He's run 14 races this season. This is his first top 10, potentially his final in his career, as he has no plans for 2019. It looked bad for him earlier in that race. He got damaged after a caution came out, and Daniel Suarez, who was too busy putting sriracha on his chimichanga, ran into the back of him, ending his own day. Matt was actually 2 laps down at one point in that race, too. So finishing 7th with all the craziness, that's just awesome. So hell of a job there, Kenseth. The next cigar goes to William Byron, who officially locked up the 2018 Rookie of the Year. Not like it was that hard to win anyways. But he got himself a 9th place finish, his first top 10 in a little while since Watkins Glen a few months back. He also had some rear end damage too, so way to pound it out in that ugly-ass Hertz car. So nice job, Willie. And the final cigar goes to Bubba Wallace. He finished 10th. And it's so fitting because he's running the Air Force car, ran a clean race, really didn't do anything. Obviously, they don't have the speed, but he took advantage of the craziness and got himself his first top 10 since his 8th place run at Texas all the way back at the beginning part of the season. So nice job, Bubba. And rounding out the awards. What could it be? I think we saved the best for the last. We got some tears, we got some salt. Oh, that's right. What is it, Nick?
Oh, it's the crying towel, and it goes to Johnny Sauter. Oh, he's basically accusing the Hattori Enterprises team of cheating more or less because they're using their OEM engine for Homestead, or at least planning on it, and they've used it multiple times throughout the year, and I guess they've complained about it before, but now that there's something really on the line, they don't want them using it because they think that they're going to lose. So old 6-time Sauter just, I'm tired of guys complaining because they're at a disadvantage or something like that. Just drive the truck. Moffitt hasn't even really won on straight-up speed. They've just put themselves in good position all year. So I really don't know much about that engine being an advantage. It just seems like they're complaining just to complain. Don't say it's going to be a joke. If NASCAR's letting them use it, they must think it's okay enough and equal enough playing field to make it work. So, Sauter, you're the one that's embarrassing. I hope you don't win the championship and it's game over, not Moffitt, because you just gotta quit your bitching.
Oh, salty Sauter!
Why? Johnny, I'm surprised you haven't gotten a crying towel earlier in the season. Is this really the first one of the year for him? I just can't believe it's taken it this long for you to blow up because you feel you're being cheated. Oh my God, Johnny Sauter, you big crybaby!
He acts like he's not even going to have a chance. I mean, come on. They've been one of the most consistent all year. It's just ridiculous.
Exactly! Drive the truck, Sauter. People love the truck.
They definitely do.
And Moffitt's crew chief Scott Zipadelli said it's just an excuse for being beat by a better truck. Well, you're damn right. Cut the crap, Sauter. You are going to get beat by a better truck, but it's not going to be because of the engine. Just because you suck.
Step on your little... Bitch! You'll step on your little Johnny. Here's Johnny! Rolling to a healthy 6th place finish as you lose the title. Don't complain next time.
Also, your paint schemes suck.
That's it for the awards. Bye-bye.
All right, it's time once again to look at the best paint schemes of the week, and we only have one this week, and it's a paint scheme that we actually saw last year that made its return this season. It's Brett Moffitt's race-winning Kobe Toyo Pet Toyota Tundra. It's a very solid paint scheme. That's why we're bringing it back again this year, and that's pretty much all there is to it. And moving on to the worst paint schemes of the week, we have a dishonorable mention to give. Nick, who is that?
Yeah, this one goes to Derek Krause's Napa truck. And we saw a really good render of the truck originally. Great balance with the blue and the yellow and the white. It just looked like a really sharp paint scheme. And then you get to the race and we see it. It's like, what happened? It doesn't look as good anymore. It's like they filled in some of the blue areas with yellow and white, and it just takes away from the overall colors of the truck, and it messes with the flow, and I'm all confused. Since it's a dishonorable mention, they just get a mini ficus, but I gotta piss in something. Moving on to something a little bigger from the Cup race, Brad Keselowski. I can't help but laugh at this. I guess it's creative, but when you run an ugly sweater paint scheme, you're going to be a worst paint scheme of the week automatically. I mean, what's going on here? First of all, I think I'm most ticked off about them wanting to talk about Christmas before Thanksgiving. That's always gotten me in a bunch. The scheme would kind of work if it was like a random promotional thing that was never meant to hit the track, but to actually see it on track, especially at a track in the desert, like, it's just so laughable. Yeah, you're definitely a worst, no doubt about that. So, what's the next worst one?
That's right, rounding off the worst paint schemes of the week is Jimmy Johnson's Lowe's Power of Pride throwback. Well, let's just go ahead and really break this down. First of all, this is a throwback to Jimmy's first career start in the Cup Series. This is also a homage to Veterans Day. That's nice. Here's the problem. This paint scheme sucked when it originally ran in 2001. And out of all the Power of Pride schemes we have seen over the years, some really badass ones, this is their choice. And it's not even like a full throwback too. Because, you see, even though it's small, the Lowe's decal on the hood is not the exact same one. Like, come on. Be a little bit creative. You could have gotten a few points for that. And not to mention, the blue is fantastic. But as we have said many times this year, colors do not make good paint schemes. Oh, hey, Pillar. Nice to see ya. I know you're there. What the hell? This car is just not good. A complete missed opportunity. Very sad. It's incomplete. Like I said, when you make a throwback decision, don't do one that wasn't good. This reminds me of Jamie McMurray's decision in the Darlington race. Like, they chose a paint scheme that was terrible and then made it even worse. That's not really happening here. It's just the same thing, but it's still not good. Nice job, Lowe's. You dropped the ball in your second to last race and finished a very healthy 15th, so that's on par with Jimmy's year. Good luck in Homestead. That's it. God damn. Only one more worst paint scheme of the week. Whew. Boys, it's been tough to get through it this year.
I know. Oh, man, like, we've ran out of room for the ficuses.
Yeah, we have.
We've killed so many ficuses. I mean, greenhouses hate us. I don't feel bad, though. Don't bring shit paint schemes to the track, then. Ugh.
That's for sure.
Moving on. Okay, now it's time to recap the fantasy results and picks from Phoenix. And Nick comes out with a clutch victory, picking Kyle Busch, who won the race and got 54 points. I finished second, taking Kevin Harvick, who finished fifth and got 39 points. Damani picked Chase Elliott, who looked strong early, but got involved in that wreck, finishing 23rd and only got 29 points. And Kane's luck ran out. He picks Joey Logano, who wrecked early, finished 37th, and got uno point. Holy Lord. So, going into finale week at Homestead, it is more than necessary to do a points update. And Kane, he's had a strong hold on that points lead all season long, and he still holds it, but it is now dramatically reduced. He currently leads with 1,372. I am just 11 points back. Nick is 38 back, so now all three of us are championship eligible going into the final round. And last year's champion, Damani, he is so far ahead of the game. He's 137 back, so that's unfortunate for him. But the good news is for us, there will be a brand new behind the wall fantasy champion. So that's cool in its own. So to explain what we're going to do for the fantasy for Homestead, we're going to do our normal picks like we always do. But instead, we can't pick any Championship 4 because the Championship 4 do not run for regular points. So we'll pick a driver for the race, normal stuff as we've been doing, and we will each pick a champion. Now there's 10 bonus points up for grab for whoever picks the champion. And to make it as fair as possible, we're going to do our normal rundown where Kane will pick first for the race selection, but he will pick last for championship selection. So, to kick it off, our final fantasy segment of the year, Kane, who is your race winner for Homestead?
He has come close at Homestead the past couple of years. He should have won it in 16. He had a chance to win it in 17, but he let the two championship contenders in front of him fight it out amongst themselves. I am going to go with Kyle Larson. Because we all know he loves running that high line right next to the wall, and we all know that is the preferred groove at Homestead Miami Speedway. So, Damani, who is your pick?
I told you.
Thank you, Damani. Tyler?
Thank you, Kane. This is obviously a very tough decision, and I believe will determine who wins the title. I'm going to have to go with Chase Elliott.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
He's been strong in this second half of the year. He's snuck out 3 wins. I know that the 1.5 mile program might not be the total best, but I just still feel like they're going to go there with a good shot to win. I'm just not really trusting anybody else, so I got to go with my gut there. Nick, who's your pick?
Well, I don't really want to do it, but I have nothing to lose. I got to take a swing at this. I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, if he doesn't bottle it and speed down pit road or think it's 2010 or something, he might have a shot at it. Maybe at least get me some stage points. He's going winless so far, so I mean, I know he really wants to get a win. Maybe he'll be able to pull something out of the bag, so we'll see. See if he can deliver his package.
Well, that does it for the race picks. So now we move on to selecting our champion. Nick, you're first up on the board.
Kevin Harvick.
That was easy.
He's been the best car all season, just been dominating. He's got the 8 wins. He's just Kevin Harvick, and he's got the golden horseshoe. So, I mean, Phoenix didn't stop him with that penalty. He's always good when his back's against the wall, and Homestead's the perfect opportunity to showcase that. So, there you go. Tyler, who is your pick for the champion?
Well, I've got to go with the hot hand, the winner at Phoenix, Kyle Busch. Yeah, I will be extremely upset if that happens. Wasn't happy in 2015 when he won the title, but of all the years, I think that this year would make a hell of a lot more sense for him to win the title. 8 wins on the season, been extremely strong, big 3, all the factors that we have seen through 35 races, and it would not surprise me that he's the one taking the title. 18 and 18. Ugh. Well, Damani, who is your champion?
I don't care who you are, that was just wrong.
Thank you, Damani. Well, that only leaves one left on the board, so, Kane, you can just say it. We know who it is.
Stage winner, MTJ. And let me just say, oh yeah.
Thank you, Clayton.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. This is it. The last fantasy segment is in the books, and we have got quite a show in Homestead waiting for us. So, good luck to everybody. And, well, one of us here is going to be a champion next week. So.
Good luck. Gonna be a good one.
Hope Kane bottles
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
I already have.
The bottle process is starting.
It's just crazy that even I have a chance now. Like, it's a tall order, but it can happen.
Absolutely. It's mathematical, so you never know what'll happen. All right, let's move on.
Well, it's time for our second installment of our individual special segments. This week is my turn. I'm excited about this. Here we go. So, NASCAR video games were a big part of our childhoods. Hell, they're a big part of our adulthoods as well. And those games wouldn't have been nearly as good without a good soundtrack. So I am going to count down my top 10 favorite songs from NASCAR video games. I'm going to focus on the EA Sports games for this segment. The Eutechnics and Heat games have had some good songs, but I usually ended up turning their music off after a while, so I don't think it would be fair to give my opinion on those. So you may disagree with this list, and that's okay. I just thought it would be fun to reminisce and listen to some music from games that have meant a lot to us over the years. There were so many great songs to choose from, so it was pretty difficult to narrow them down, but I took a lot of things into consideration and gave it my best shot. I also tried to make sure there was a good balance between all of the games. And for the top 10 list, I'm going to limit things to official or legit bands and not background or instrumental music, just to make sure it's a level playing field. But first, I have some honorable mentions to give out, and these do not have to meet those same requirements. And the first honorable mention goes to John Popper. He was featured on a majority of NASCAR 2000's soundtrack. Some of them were simply instrumental versions of songs from his band Blues Traveler, and they just nailed that NASCAR atmosphere. Moving on to our next one, NASCAR 2001 soundtrack. It was possibly my favorite soundtrack as a whole, so I'm just going to group them all together. From Government Mule to Widespread Panic, these instrumentals captured the excitement and danger of the sport in a way I feel no other racing game has. Next we have Joe Satriani. Oh man, arguably one of the best guitarists in the world. He also did a lot of NASCAR 06's background music, and you cannot forget Surfing with the Alien from NASCAR 99. Simply a classic. Finally, we have to give a shout out to Thunder by David, I don't know how to pronounce it, Robadux, whatever. It was first heard in 2005 Chase for the Cup, and it basically became the theme for the rest of the games that followed in the series. And its victorious kind of vibe made this a perfect fit for the sports. And now comes the moment we've all been waiting for, my top 10 songs from EA Sports NASCAR video games. I'm going to talk a little less about these songs and simply let the music speak for itself, so here we go. Number 10, Electric Rodeo by Shooter Jennings, NASCAR 07. Number 9, Drive and Wheel by Foghat, NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup. Number 8, Stand Up for Rock and Roll by Airborne, NASCAR 08.
All right, people, welcome to the show. Are you ready to roll? Are you ready to go?
Number 7, Go Faster by the Black Crowes, NASCAR 06 Total Team Control.
You can't stop or I will pass you. If you slow down, I will outlast you. But when you're down, you won't find me.
Number 6, Ready to Roll by Jet Black Stare, NASCAR 09.
Talk down, I'll push it to the floor. Straight sides in the center.
Number 5, Porter by Fuel, NASCAR Thunder 2004. Number 4, Addicted by Palmerston, NASCAR 08. Number 3, Magic Carpet Ride by Steppenwolf, NASCAR Thunder 2003.
Well, you don't know what we can find. Why don't you come with me, little girl, on a magic carpet ride? You don't.
Number 2, Gear Jammer by George Thorogood, NASCAR 99.
Running my rig around 95. Rocking and rolling in an overdrive.
And finally, number 1, we have Flirtin' with Disaster by Molly Hatchet from NASCAR 98.
I'm traveling down that lonesome road. Feel like I'm traveling heaven low.
Yeah!
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the countdown, and like I said, even if you didn't agree with the order or what was included, hopefully it at least brought back some great memories of some great games. And if anyone actually watches this, go ahead and post your favorites in the comments. So, Tyler, back to you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Obviously, we had no idea what you were gonna do, and that was nice execution there. A little bit kind of what I did with nostalgia's sake, so I appreciate that, obviously. But great songs. Realistically, my top 10 wouldn't be much different if I sat down and thought about it. So, great tracks in there. Glad you had an Airborne. Quarter by Fuel was a hell of a song, and obviously Flirtin' with Disaster. That's where like all of us got our start with NASCAR 98, really. So, yeah, just good shit. Nice job, Nick.
Thank you.
Yep.
You get a cigar.
Cannot disagree there. That was pretty damn good. Damn good.
Yeah, that was fun. So great job, Nick, again, and we'll look forward to what Kane has in store for next week. Well, that does it for another episode of Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky. We appreciate you for listening. So, for Damani HD, Fantasy Loser. For Kane Jr. 88, Fantasy Bottler. For Thermite 917, good luck with that pick there. And for myself, Pro Bowl 43. Wow, we are at the end of the 2018 season. We're looking forward to the end. Definitely looking forward to next week's show and the season-ending award ceremony. So we're just hyped for everything. Hopefully we see great shows from all three series. So this has been Behind the Wall. You've been Behind the Wall. And thank you for listening.
What the hell are the other races called? Can-Am 500.
The Whalen Trusted to Perform 200 for
The
Xfinity.
Whelan 200. Just say Whelan. Whelan Trusted to Who Gives a Fuck 200.
Just say Whalen 200. It doesn't matter.
Whelan!
Whelan!
It's pronounced Whelan?
There's an E there!
Whalen. It's the Whalen
Whalen.
series.
Well, because you know what Whalen makes, right?
Well, yeah, but it's called Whelan.
Whelan.
Oh.
Whelan
I don't care what I
modified.
make, it's called
Whelan.
Whelan.
You know what they make, right? So
Yes!
Whales.
there's a joke that I've heard. If your siren's a Phelan, it's probably a Whalen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes sense, but it's Whelan.
It's fucking Whelan.
The newly enhanced Phoenix Raceway. It's not Phoenix.
It's
Just call
ism.
it that.
It's
Oh,
ism.
man. Yeah, ism.
I thought it was Jism.
It's Phoenix. Like, stop it. How dare they change the name? Sellouts. Phoenix, you guys sold out! That's why I put that comment there. This is
Yeah.
a guideline. And stop coughing.
Yep.
Jesus. What are you smoking a pack of Marlboros over there? What the hell's going on?
Sorry, I don't smoke Marlboros. I'm a Winston man, but I don't smoke
You're a
anyway,
Winston
so fuck
man.
that.
I just seen like a Photoshop picture of old man Bill France, RJ Reynolds, and Kane just all smoking a cigar.
Yes, that would
Somewhere
be so
that
badass.
happened.
That would be badass. That actually did happen.
So guys, what changes do we make to NASCAR next week? Kane's like 50 races a year.
That was straight up Krusty the Clown right there.
So Halloween, I'm volunteering with the fire department again. We're handing out glow sticks to the trick-or-treaters so they can be seen at night.
Ghost.
I come up to this group of kids and I just roll down the window. I'm like, "Hey kids!"
Oh,
You want a
that's
glow stick?
great.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet you made some very happy parents that night. That wow.
Plus it's Halloween, so I wanted to give them a little scare. You know what I mean?
I think you gave more than a scare. This next one you'll see it in the. Damn it.
Strike Jacket Award.
Thank you. His first race in the next to last race of the season. And then now I pulled a thermite. I'm not happy.
And now moving on with the rest of the Cup Cigars. Damn it. Here's Tyler.
Do that
Take it away.
again.
From
Just do that again.
Cigars. They have it. All right. And now moving on to the Cup Cigars. Kyle Busch, yes, he gets a cigar
Wait, whoa,
too.
whoa, whoa,
Take it.
Just do the intro to me.
Okay. Okay.
We've lost the fucking track.
Oh, it's the grime towel. Oh, it's just. What was that?
Jesus.
Someone moved a chair or something.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
I'm confused.
Sounded like somebody breathed into the mic too hard.
Jamie
In
McClary.
theory, that's a good pick, but on the other hand, he's not a good driver. So,
Hey, Denny's had his moments, goddammit. Why am I defending Denny?
Yeah, like Homestead
Denny,
in
that's
2010.
defending Denny. That's like a Lifetime original movie.
Yeah.
Think
Or a
that goes-
Hallmark, something you'd see on Hallmark or something.
Hallmark. Hallmark.
Yeah, glad you enjoyed it. Like I said, it was tough putting that together, but just wanted to have a good balance of all the games and just relive some good moments of gaming. So, yeah.
We're too much, too young, too fast. Like greatest song of all time. Grab.
Where is Lagrange by ZZ Top? That was an EA Sports song.
But why didn't you leave it on the track?
Um,
My old man said this great fucking song should be on your list. Damn.
and the moment's gone.
Yep. You killed it, Tyler.
Fuck off, Kane.